My name is Dinesh from ManageEngine Unified Endpoint Management and Security Solution team. And I'm here in Dublin to attend the workshop arranged by Serverplex. And so today I'm going to take care of the sessions like onboarding endpoints by installing the agents, modern management, and also including the OS deployment part. I'm working with the ManageEngine for a couple of decades, and especially I'm working with the UEM from the beginning itself. I haven't changed the team. And I'm happy to be here in the capital of Ireland to conduct the workshop. Today, I'm going to talk more about the onboarding endpoints, different methods available to install the agents, and what is the best practice that you can follow when you are in Azure Active Directory or AWS, or if you have a closed network. This is what I already covered. And also, I'm going to talk about the OS deployment part, how you can deploy the OS images to the remote machine, hardware-independent deployment, and helping the users, which are those who are working from home and still they face a lot of issues with the OS, how you can deploy the image without asking them to come down to office. The primary requirement for any kind of business is work from anywhere. So if you have handheld devices, you can quickly respond to your customers and quickly handle the situation, the firefighting situation, and you come to know what needs to be done. So this is the one of the primary requirements when it comes to the mobile device management. So it depends. The requirements are vast variety. When I say, if you take the mobile device management, some business, they want to enable the kiosk mode and give it to the drivers or the frontline users. So they can just use the options available on the screen, nothing like playing games on going inside the device and changing the settings. So you have those kind of requirements. And another big area is BYOD devices, bring your own devices. So I have my personal device. I don't want to really carry two devices, one for my work, one for my personal. I can just use one device, and MDM is they beautifully separated the corporate workspace and then a personal workspace. So if you talk about the BYOD, end users, what their question is, are you going to track me when I go to bar? Are you going to track me wherever I go, whatever I do? So that is not the case, actually. So the MDM space perfectly separates the personal and the corporate. Whatever the items you have in a personal, it's up to you. And whatever the items you have in a corporate, it's up to the corporate guys. So this is the perfect example for using the MDM. This is the basic requirement. They want to separate the personal and corporate. And in case the corporate is going to purchase the device, they can enable the full management and give it to the end user, frontline users, or some other users. They use it like throwing the devices or easily break it. So for those guys, they have the rugged devices, enable the kiosk mode, and give it to the users. So these are all the kind of requirements that we usually receive. And some corporates, they want to manage the device because the security is the priority. So I might be using iOS, Apple device version, a model 6 or 7, which is so highly vulnerable because Apple announced no more, I'm going to give a security update for the 6 or 7. So you can easily identify those who are the users who are using an Apple device, so version 6 and 7, and you can block it from the corporate access. So those kind of security you can enable. The primary requirements when it comes to the MDM is the data security. Everyone is focusing on the data security because end users are carrying the corporate devices. For any business, the data is the money, right? If they lose the data, they will be losing a business as well as the money and also customer trust. So it is difficult to regain it. So MDM focus more on data security. Like say, if you have an email app in your device which contains the corporate data, and if end user lost the device on the road, you can just issue a corporate wipe. It will just erase all the corporate information from the device. And you said like iOS and Android is the market. Okay, so you just have two options. You can either go for Android or iOS. From the integration perspective, we support both iOS and Android as well. We are the Endpoint Central is certified by the Google. We are having official partnership with the Google and tight integration with the Apple Business Manager for easy of onboarding. So when I say Apple Business Manager, I have a small story for you. Like say previously, that is like a few years ago, what administrator will do is they purchase the device, open it up, and enroll it, and give it to the end user. If you use the Apple Business Manager, you can just purchase the device and hand over the box directly to the end user. Whenever they open it, everything gets configured. It's a full of automation. Similar thing, you can achieve it with the Android devices using the zero-touch enrollment. And of course, you mentioned the Knox, right? Yes, the same thing can be achieved with the Knox as well. The Knox is proprietary to the Samsung. So they are. So if your corporate is primarily focusing on Samsung devices, you are not going to purchase any other device, just a Samsung, you can better go for the Knox enrollment. Or I would say you can go for a Google zero-touch enrollment, which supports Knox, which supports a Samsung and non-Samsung devices. You have the flexibility. Say after 1 or 2 years, you identified the non-Samsung device or available at a cheaper price with the same configuration as Samsung, you can directly switch to the non-Samsung devices, right? So you can better use the zero-touch enrollment. Even though the Windows 10 and Windows 11 can be installed only on desktop and laptop, basically it's a mobile operating system. So how the Microsoft changed the Windows 10 and Windows 11 approaches, you can use a Surface as well as your laptop, or you can switch it. And also you might have noticed changing the screen to the desktop mode and also the mobile mode. So these are all the things that they have changed in the foreground. Whereas in the background, it still supports the MDM capabilities, you can completely wipe the laptop. So one of the beautiful scenario I can provide is previously, if you face any issues with the operating system, what do you do? You need to format the entire hard disk drive and then reinstall the operating system, right? With the modern management, you can simply issue a complete wipe. That is, a factory reset the device. So everything will it will just wipe everything, all the data from your hard disk drive, and you get a fresh Windows 10 or 11 operating system in your hand. So how easy it is. And on top of that, you can also do location tracking. So you can track the location where the devices are available, and also you can completely come out of your GPU. That is the legacy model. So if you want to apply some settings, you no need to use a GPU, but you can just use the MDM profiles to deploy all the settings. So even you can reset the password, and you can set the passcode policy, that is a password or passcode policy. So Windows 10 and 11 supports the PIN as well as your traditional passcode. And also you can configure the multi-factor authentication for user login itself, Windows login itself. So those kind of things you can do. On top of that, Microsoft introduced a technology called Azure Autopilot. So it is simply called as Autopilot. It will give you the flexibility of onboarding users from the internet itself. You no need to call the user back to the corporate, or you no need to ship the hardware directly to the end user. What you can do is you can ask the seller to ship the laptop directly to the end user and create all the accounts in your Azure. And once they log in, it will directly hit the Microsoft Business Store and then to Azure and then to Endpoint Central. The advantage here is it's a three-way communication, and once the laptop gets enrolled to the MDM, it will trigger the agent installation. You get the complete management. You have a modern management in place as well as a traditional management in place, and you can do patching everything, and also you can track the location, and you can perform a wipe whenever you want, and also with the additional information you get it from the MDM as well, MDM Asset Management. It will provide a whole lot of information. So if you take an Endpoint Central inventory, you get a processor details, all the information, the complete details. If you want something like a high-level information, you can use the inventory part available in the MDM. It will give you the IP address, MAC address, and some of the application installed on it, and including the location details. So these are all the advantages with the MDM. So the best thing is you can just to manage the users who are all available in the internet. So they no need to connect back to your Active Directory, on-premises Active Directory, and you no need to create any GPU. You can create all the profiles and deploy it, including the app distribution as well. You can distribute all the apps from the Microsoft Business Store to the devices.